It is 8:10. Good morning. It is the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle. In studio guests, very, very exciting program that is going on. And we're talking to Colleen and Issa. Good morning, Saugus.
Good morning.
Saugus School District, yes?
Saugus Union, yes.
Make sure I get, Colleen's looking at me like, do I need to do this? Make sure I say everything correctly because this is a really exciting program that you guys are informing the public about. So who wants to start?
I'm going to let Dr. DeArmas.
I knew that was happening. Issa, you're up. I knew it.
Thank you, Dr. Hawkins. Thank you for having us. We are very excited about our program. We just conducted 2 informational meetings for our community. We had over 200 families join us where we showcased our program for next year, where we will have 2 kindergarten classes at Highlands Elementary, where we will teach our students in Spanish and in English. What we, and Dr. Hawkins has been instrumental in helping us bring this to our district, having the 90-10 model, which is 90% of the time our students will be instructed in Spanish at the kindergarten level, and then 10% of the time in English. As they move on into first grade, they would have an 80-20 model, so it would be 80% of the time in Spanish and 20 in English, and so forth as they move on to the grades. The goal is to not only have our students be bilingual, but be biliterate, so be able to read and write in both languages.
Clearly this has been a successful program in the past because Colleen, you told me off air that this kind of program has been around for a very long time, but now we're getting to bring it into our area.
Yes. My experience in several school districts in other roles with this particular program has been really remarkable. And the longest standing program that I'm familiar with is in Corona Norco, and it goes all the way TK through 12, where the kids, by the time they graduate high school, are really triliterate. They learn to speak English, Spanish, and Mandarin by the end.
Mandarin?
Correct. So that they have all 3 languages, and they can read, write, and speak, but also think in those languages, because when you're trying to communicate with folks, it's really important that you're not always translating back from your primary language to the secondary language. And so that's why we have what's called the dual immersion program. And we started in kindergarten. It's not a program that started in a higher grade level, and we immerse the children, all of the children, in what we call the target language, which in our case will be Spanish. And then we transition throughout the school year so that by the time they're in 4th grade, instruction in math, science, social studies, art, PE, everything is 50% in English and 50% in Spanish. And the goal is that by the end of the 6th grade, they will be fully biliterate in those 2 languages. And so then we will begin to work with our Hart partners at William S. Hart so that they have a transitional program where the kids will get their high school Spanish credit during middle school, and then they can progress into another language. Is
my mouth just wide open? Like I don't even know what to say by this. This is an amazing. Going back to when I was in 6th grade, they were just trying to get things like algebra and geometry out of the high school and kind of like testing it in the lower grades and stuff like that. I mean, we're talking worlds away what you guys are doing, and the thought of being not only biliterate, but then throwing a 3rd language in there, that is just crazy to me. That is unbelievable. What incredible work you guys are doing. But I understand that it's easier to teach because littler kids are sponges. So the littler, the better, yes?
Yes.
Well, and there's a lot of research in in our presentations. We shared a documentary, a video on how the brain learns, and the neuroplasticity of our brains, especially at a young age. Our children are able to learn and better than an adult to assimilate and understand the language patterns and understand language in and of itself. And so our brains, contrary to what we used to believe many, many years ago, are able to absorb and understand the language, and students are not afraid to take those risks and really take the chance to pronounce letters in a different language and have the opportunity to
It's
to
funny.
learn.
It's funny that you should say that, because my daughter, in particular, as an example, when she got to high school and she was learning French at the time, she's also learning sign language, which is very
Another language.
Another
which is
language.
actually absolutely another language. But when she was speaking French, she was a little shy, and she's not a shy kid. So that is an interesting point that you bring out, because lower the grades, these kids are not. It's what you do.
Yeah.
It's kind of just, hey, that's what we're doing in school, and you just do it, and you grow up that way. And how fantastic is everyone just wanting in on this program? I mean, is the wait list just out the door?
Yes. We have an overwhelming response. We had folks that are interested, families complete an interest list, and we keep getting many each day. So that evening that we had our informational meeting, we had 80 interest lists just that night.
Just that night.
For about 50 spots.
Yeah.
So what do we do? So in that case, do we just go away and pout, or how do we? So, I made Colleen laugh.
We're looking at the perfect model for our first round of this. So we want to make sure that we have the appropriate balance of students whose primary language is our target language of Spanish. That's very important in the model. It's not just we put everybody in there and we speak Spanish to them for their first year. It's having those models of kids who can communicate with each other in the target language, as well as communicate with each other in the secondary language, which in this case would be English. So we want to make sure that we have the best model for that. And so we're taking the interest lists, and then we're probably going to have to do a lottery in order to accommodate folks. Now, if we were to have enough to fill classes, because typically you fill 2 kindergarten classes, because as kids move up through the program, sometimes there's some attrition of people moving and not being able to continue in the program. So we always start with 2 classes and move our way up. So we would have to be able to fill 4 classes and have 4 teachers. And if we could do that, we would love to. But we don't know yet.
It sounds like you might want to get ready, Colleen. Yeah. Sounds like you might want to just, get a cup of coffee and get there. You go, sit down. It's been a pleasure having you guys in studio. If listeners, they're driving around right now, probably kids in the car, taking them to school right now. If they're interested in this program, they want to hear more, they just want any kind of information, where can we direct them?
Please call our Saugus Union School District office. Also, my email and information and all about our dual language immersion is on our Saugus website as well. They're welcome.
Is that
to call.
Saugus? Give me the link.
Saugus Union at
SaugusUnion.org?
SaugusUnion.org.
Yes.
.org. Okay. So if you're driving around and there are any questions, you can't write anything down, not to worry. You know why, Isa and Colleen? Because we're streaming live on Facebook, so they can go back and they can play this interview and get all the information and then give you guys a call if interested. And I can't imagine them not. It's going to be more successful. Will you come back next year this time and let us know the progression of this? Because this is fascinating to me that we're just, we're just pulling these kids in, and they're, generations away from where I was at kindergarten. Trust me. I was, we had milk and cookies, and it was 6 cents, and, it was just different. It was completely different. And this kind of stuff is just taking off.
May I say something in Spanish? Would that be okay?
Isa, go for it.
I would like to, in Spanish, just welcome all families, of course, but for our Spanish-speaking families, I would like to say that about our program. So, para nuestras familias que hablan español, queremos invitarlos a que vengan a nuestro programa de lenguaje, que vamos a empezar en la escuela de Highlands, distrito de Saugus Union School District. Estamos muy orgullosos de nuestro programa. Para su placer, quisiéramos que vinieran a nuestra escuela y registren a sus niños, y estamos muy orgullosos del programa, y llámenos para inscribir a sus niños.
Dr. Isa, I don't even know. I'm just so impressed with you guys. It's so amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Come back in here. I want to hear about the progression. Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
When you're looking for a midnight snack,